Welcome, witches and wizards. So we've already done the video on permission slips and how they work. Now, a lot of you have asked what kind of permission slips, what kind of manifestation tools have I used? So I thought I'd take you on my walk. It means I don't have to run. And let me go through everything. This may be a long one. I'll try and time stamp it at the bottom as well, so you can flick through to see the kind of things that I've done, and then that way you don't have to watch the whole video if you're just looking for a certain permission slip. But I've made a list. There's 29 of them that I've used over the last 7 odd years, and I'll try and explain each one as well, so that you're not just given a word and have to look it up. So the first one is the breath work. Now you can also tie this in with ice baths, if you're thinking Wim Hof, but breath work is connecting to the unconscious mind. It's the only thing that we do that you get the choice whether you do it consciously or unconsciously. And the way the permission slip that I've kind of taken from this is the idea of when you realize you are as abundant as air, that you are able to completely forget about it and still survive, you can then manifest anything to that point of existence. So that's the goal. But breath work is amazing for relaxing you. If you get anxious, if you get angry, the breath can always bring you back into the present moment and make you forget about your worries and concerns. So it's an amazing exercise, even if you're not doing it for manifestation and like a form of discipline for yourself. So that's number 1, breath work. 2, grounding, and it's kind of what I'm doing today, but the permission slip of grounding is reconnecting to nature itself. And so it's not just walking outside barefoot and like literally grounding yourself to the earth. Don't get me wrong, it is that, but it's everything nature provides. So it's sun gazing, you could gather up breathing into that, as air is something nature has provided. When in my in another video where I spoke about connecting with nature, like animals and stuff, you can give meaning to animals, and therefore you can ground yourself by just seeing what's around you. And I've got a bunch of seagulls which I haven't actually given meaning to. The ravens and the squirrels I have, that there are also plentiful around here. So, and there's also pigeons which I've given meaning to. But maybe by the end of this we'll give meaning to the seagulls as well, to give you an example. But it's being able to tap into nature, go on walks and really feel connected to this beautiful world. The next one is meditation. And again, I've tried to group these up so they kind of make sense together, so you can do a couple of these at the same time. But meditation's also a great one because it forces you in the present moment. And I'll do a little exercise with all of you here. So watch me now. Whether you're watching this on a phone, whether you're watching this on a computer, without taking your eyes off me, you can see further than your screen. You can see around your screen. You can maybe see the door in the corner or the window over there without moving your head. All of a sudden you're using more of what was already in sight. Continuing on, I'm probably not the only noise in the room. Maybe there's a dishwasher around the corner. Maybe you can hear cars if you're on a road. If you're shitting, you can hear the plop. Things that you weren't conscious of before, but you can now tap into that. It's also funny because your nose is constantly smelling. You have a smell. If you want to tap into it, you can. You are constantly tasting. You can taste right now. from just tapping into your senses, you have become more present with this moment. You have become more aware. And when we say subconscious mind and tapping into the subconscious mind, these are the things that you are able to tap into and don't. And so understand that all of this information is being given to you all of the time, and you're just not using it. But you are constantly being fed information, and this goes, so your mind is another element to this. And imagine if 90% of the thoughts you have are toxic. Imagine if you're constantly putting yourself down, or there is a negative feedback loop, and because you're not meditating, because you're not listening and aware of the voice or how aggressive or harmful it is to you, it's just allowed to dictate your life the way it is. So meditation is very important. I believe is one of the best ones that I still use today. And I should probably rate these. So I'll go grounding. I'd give a solid let's keep it. The first one was breathing. I'd give that a 9 out of 10. I'd give grounding like a 6 out of 10. I'd give meditation a 10 out of 10. You can genuinely, that's the only permission slip you need to truly start manifesting and realizing where you are and instead where you want to be. So moving on, we have journaling, another form of meditation, if you will. But this allows you to, journaling is going to come up a lot, because if you're doing manifestations, if you're trying to manifest anything, if you're basically writing anything, it's a form of journaling. And it's up to you how you do it. But in terms of the way I've done it, where it's been very successful, is I gave myself like a score out of 5, just 1 to 5, throughout the day, how positive the day was. And then if you've got proof, almost like a ledger of how happy your day was, you can't then turn around to yourself in a month's time and go, I've had such a shit month. This is where the physical evidence is really helpful. And you can't go back on your month and go, well, look at that, such a shit month I've had. When really you look back and you go, yeah, okay. No, that was really bad. That was a really bad day, maybe even a bad week. And I've got to the point where I no longer have bad weeks. My wife said this to me the other day, because we were having a debate whether I was too spiritual. And she was like, you still have bad days? And I go, no, give me how long? And she goes, well, I remember whether it was a month or 2 ago, she goes, you were angry for 2 hours. And I was like, yeah, no, I'll take that. That sounds about right. So you can get to a point where, yes, you still feel all of these emotions that make it feel like your world is out of control, but you can stop it in its tracks. A bad morning doesn't have to ruin the whole day or whole week. And so journaling allows you to keep track of your thoughts, again, like meditation, but in a more like hitting a save in a game. So you can look back and go, oh yeah, it wasn't actually as bad as I thought. Like imagine if you just died in a game and then you reload a save and then you win. Well, obviously you can't do that in life, but if you could, it's a realization that it wasn't as bad as you thought it was, and that there was an opportunity, there was a reason to stay positive, that you can then fix things in the future. So yeah, I'd recommend journaling. Again, your thoughts, your emotions by the end of the day. And it can be something as simple as almost like a to-do list that morning, because then you've also got a checklist that can help you moving forward. It could be something like, if you're in a really bad place, like I say, make it really easy. Give yourself the whole brush your teeth, make sure you get to bed at a certain time. And if you've done those 2 things, you can wake up the next morning, look back and go, you know what, I was successful. And that's the beginning of your positive arc. Right, moving on. We are on number 5 of 29. This is going to take a while. Right, the Ashatic Records. Let's get into some more spiritual stuff. This is the idea of a library of information external from yourself. That you know everything, that you might as well be, others may use this in another way, but it's the way I use it. That you might as well be a god that has all the information you need, and because we are just having a material existence, that you're unable to tap into this library, this Ashatic Records, if you will. And if you, through meditation, through guidance, or watching other people's videos of it, you can start peeling open these books. And like, if you want a logical version of this, you don't hold on to all your memories. You haven't got every memory just sitting there, but you'll have triggers that open doors. And so think about this as just a wormhole into a higher dimension. Let's use something that we should all be able to grasp. Ants on a tabletop. That will be our 2D dimension. And I want you to put 4 or 5 books on that table. Well, that ant can walk around this 2D world and see 4 or 5 books. That's pretty cool. But then it wants to put that into its memory, and it can't, because it can't move into a 3-dimensional world. Obviously it can if it climbs, but try and just imagine it on a plane of existence, and that's all it's got access to. Now, you as a 3-dimensional being, go over and stack the books on top of each other. From the ant's point of view, 4 out of those 5 books just disappeared, have left existence. But really, they're just in a higher dimension. They haven't gone. They haven't gone anywhere. They still exist. They are still in the present moment. They just can't be accessed by the ant right now. That is the idea of the Ashatic Records. You can tap into them. You can enter higher dimensions. And so we are not the ant, we are the human. And therefore, there is information that is vastly wider than the information we can hold in this realm in higher dimensions. So I don't know if that helped, but I'll leave that one there for Ashatic Records. Next, Ashatic Records, I would put as a 6 again, because it's quite a hard concept to grasp. But it's definitely one that, like, I think personally it's an 8, because I've had quite a fascination with it. But the next one's my main one that I still use today, and it's summoning. Now, here's where we get more into the divine and the magical. You would probably think it would be tarot or divination, but no, that comes later. But this is like the one that I have used and seen the best results, because I can like use it in my daily practice on the way to work. I don't need my tarot cards to tap into this. I've made, let's start at the very beginning. You can summon whatever you want. Whatever you believe in, your God, your angels, your dragons, your fairies. I'm not biased. You can use angels, demons, you can use whatever you want. But make sure it resonates with you. If you're a religious person, don't be using demons, because you'll end up putting a curse on yourself that, again, your permission slips have told you to do. So use what works for you. Use what you have a connection with. I see a lot of people using the scriptures, the Bible. Again, it's not something that I resonate with. But with so many people using them, it's very easy for them to then use a Bible and call upon Michael, or Gabriel or Uriel, and go, my angels, thank you for the support and guidance. And so a summoning is the idea of calling upon a spirit or higher entity from a higher dimension to your world. If we're going back to the Ashatic Records idea, it's the idea that get someone that's been there and read the scriptures to come down and tell you the information. And I took it one further and used my imagination and created my own 12 gods. You can actually find all of those on my channel. I made the gods through meditation, and we then went through Pinterest and tried to find images of what I saw. We'll do a whole video on my 12 gods and how I use them. But so right now, before I did this, one of the gods is called Raven. And like I said, there's loads of ravens in this field with me, with all these seagulls. Again, I'm gonna have to give you a meaning. But whenever I see a raven or a blackbird, I think of Violet, who is the library keeper. She is the god of wisdom and knowledge. She records everything from the beginning of time to the end of time. And therefore, whenever I seek information I do not have, I can always rely on her to give it to me. I've used it for like trivial shit. The other day I was doing a Sudoku, and I messed up the challenging one, because in newspapers you get the easy, medium and hard one, and I messed up the challenging one, and I went, Violet, Violet, I need you. And she just sat on my shoulder and watched me do it, and then I worked it out. So yeah, again, I think I recorded that video as well. I can't remember if I did that on a live or I made a video on it. I think it was just a live. But I summoned Uriel, one of the archangels, and I tried to use some of the sigils. I did that one properly. I've got to the point that I can use a post-it and just write their name if I want to summon something new. But again, to start with, do it properly. Whatever you believe properly will give you the best opportunity to tap into that permission slip. So yeah, summoning's 10 out of 10 for me. Love it. Channeling is very similar to chanting. And channeling is allowing someone to speak through you. Think about it as one of the forms of divination. When you hear, it's quite literally someone tapping into your mind and going, hey, it's meant to be this way. But it will feel like you're the one talking. And so for those of you that follow like Bashar, who's someone that I quite like, who's a channeler, his name's actually Daryl, but he channels a spirit or an alien, whichever way you look at it, called Bashar, and then speaks through him, and that's where his divine knowledge comes from. Again, for me, not quite a favorite. It does tap into the next one though, which is Reiki. So, because you don't have to use spirits and stuff, you can use just universal energy. You can channel universal energy from you into someone else. That's Reiki. It's a massage without touching. You're just giving them an energetical massage. And like one of the first things you're taught as a Reiki student or Reiki master, whatever you are. So this is the next one. What number is this? Number 8. You've got Reiki it's not you. You want to get out of the way. You just want to be a hollow tube that source can enter you through and then go to where it is needed. And here's the thing, if you're doing it properly, each session you give someone else heals you, because that source energy is flowing through you. But it is still a great tool. I would put it high. For me, I wouldn't say it's the top. I loved Reiki. I really needed it when I tapped into it. I no longer need it as a practice. I'd give it a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. But for some people, it's their main thing, and credit to them. It's a great permission slip to have if you can tap into Reiki, if you can train to be a Reiki master. And it's given me the confidence to do some of these other things, like even the tarot readings that I do online. Well, being a Reiki master allows you to heal from wherever you are in the world. It allows you to spread. So it starts with your hands at level 1. Then you can do it at a distance with someone in the room with you, and then you can just do it anywhere and heal anything. So yeah, Reiki's a good one. Moving on. Right, affirmations. And I'm gonna have to kind of group this in. I tell you what, let's do the chakras first. So, number 9, chakras. This was one of the first ones I used, and I would put this really high up, like a 9 out of 10. Not because of how practical it is, but because of how welcoming it is for newbies. You could look at your chakras and immediately go, you know what, that makes sense. Yeah, my heart is where I love. my root does make sense where I'm grounding. And you can basically tap into any one of these areas and go, well, if my throat chakra is being a bit depleted and I feel like I haven't been able to communicate properly, like with the world around me, maybe I'll turn to journaling and then write my thoughts on paper until I've got the confidence to speak them out loud. If I feel like I haven't got my base chakra in order, well, I'll turn to nature and I'll breathe and I'll walk on grass and sand and reconnect with the earth. And so it's very helpful for like directing you to where you need. Like Reiki, one of the best ways to do Reiki is to do it over the 7 chakras. So learn what the 7 chakras do, learn what their energy or expertise are about. And if I'm just going to go through them quickly, you got the root chakra, which is grounding and safety. You got the sacral, which is creativity and sexuality. Solar plexus, which is your energy field. This is where you find motivation and courage. You've got your heart, which is love and connection and kindness to others. You've got your throat, which is how you communicate, how you speak. You've got your third eye, which is how you see, and whether that's in this world or others. And then you've got the crown, which is seeing past illusion, realizing that we're not just of this body, we are connected to all. So that's chakras. Yeah, I'd give that a 9 out of 10. It's a really good one. And then let's go back to affirmations. So the best affirmations I use are the chakra ones, going from base. I've said this in the affirmation video where I was in this park. It goes, I am, I feel, I do, I love, I speak, I see, I feel. Sorry, I know. I speak, I know. And the higher up you go, the more powerful they can be. I mean, the 2 main ones that people use is I am affirmations and I know affirmations. So I'd recommend you trying. So once you know where you want to be, once you know what your desired reality is, what brings you joy, and the best way to find out is just asking yourself, what brings me joy? Like, if you only had one day to exist, what is it that brings you joy? What would you do? Would it be spending time with people and loved ones? Is it an activity that you never got to do? Is there a goal you'd actually spend, even if you don't complete it, you'd still want to spend and finish it? Like, just whatever it is, follow that passion, see where it takes you, and then base your affirmations on that. So moving forward, we've done well, I've written cold baths here, but we did mention it at breath. So cold baths is Wim Hof. This is more of a discipline and a form of meditation, or a form of manifestation. But the Wim Hof permission slip is amazing for building confidence within yourself. If you can wake up every morning and jump in a bath for 30 days, I tell you what, by the end of that 30 days, you'll believe you can do anything if you're willing to put your mind to it. Again, everything on this list is what I've done, and there will be more than this list of 30 things you can use as permission slips. So just because it's not on this list, don't put yourself down. Like, trust it and see where it goes. But for me, I've got a raven standing right next to a squirrel in front of me, and it looks like the raven's like following the squirrel. beautiful. They're literally standing right next to each other. You won't be able to see it, but if I get close enough and they're still there, I'll show you. So yeah, ice baths I'd put at a 5 out of 10. I believe for me, they're probably closer to a 7 out of 10, but it's one of the hardest ones to truly tap into, because you genuinely have to like shock your body into existence. It's if you're willing to be uncomfortable in the morning, well, the rest of the world isn't actually that much pain and suffering. You're just telling yourself it is. Oh, they're not as close together, but can you see the got the raven and the squirrel? The raven's still like chasing after the squirrel. Okay, next. So number 12. Let's get on to divination, the one you lot were probably waiting for. So I've written a couple here, but this covers. Oh yeah, so I guess it won't be 29 if I group all of these together. But within divination, you've got tarot, you've got oracle cards, you've got rune stones, you've got crystal balls, you've got palm reading, you've got tea cup and coffee cup readings. You have all of these forms of readings. And right, divination is amazing because, again, it's one of those permission slips that gives you confidence. And a lot of people, when they start, they give themselves readings every day. And it's not what I recommend, but I still think it's a good learning curve. So I would recommend giving it to you. Just don't worry about being in that almost addictive state of going, well, I can do tarot now, let me pull a card every day. You'll learn quickly enough that it doesn't actually make your life any happier unless you're willing to take action on it. And that's the more important part. And then you realize that you don't need it because you can take action anyway. But these are all amazing tools, especially if you are in a low state. I mean, I'm a tarot reader, so I better put this at 10 out of 10. But if I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't put it higher than a 9 out of 10. Like, for others, I would say it is. It can be extremely positive. But the other thing is I'm not a medium. So I'm not tapping into the full realm, if you will. Or maybe this is my limiting beliefs coming up more than anything else. But how do I put this? Divination is one of those permission slips that holds great power, but for me, it's always been but I'm not there yet. And now that I speak it out loud, I can tell this is a belief system thing. Who knows? Maybe I'm going to be a true medium and see the dead and spirits and stuff soon. But as a form of permission slip, I think it's amazing. I would highly recommend anyone, like, if you're keeping it simple, pick up a pack of oracle cards, ideally with a lot of words so that you don't have to tap into your intuition to start with, and then move on to a tarot card set where it's more intuition based, where it's more like using your knowledge. And then if you really like the reading side of things and getting to know other systems, then get into runes and crystal balls, where you're not given a lot in terms of what you see, and it's purely your intuition and divine guidance on that one, where it's helping yourself or others. But as a permission slip, I would rate this as a 9 out of 10 if I'm being honest. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it. Also, dice casting. I don't put it here because it's not one of the known ones. Or I didn't write it down because it's not one of the known ones. But it's becoming one of the known ones to me. So I'm really enjoying dice casting. So yeah, I'd actually put dice casting as a 10 out of 10. For me, it's like a genuine passion. Now that's like loomed in my life. Right, moving on. We have spells. Okay. We get into a bit of witchcraft here, I guess. And it depends what you're using them for. But in terms of a permission slip, these are amazing. because you can tailor a spell towards anything. You want to manifest something, write it on a bay leaf and burn it. You want to manifest love, well, light up a lavender or rose petal incense or the dried leaves. So how I use spells in my day-to-day life, and so I would put this high up, and I guess you can group this in with the rituals. I had rituals as something else, more as, because a spell you don't have to do every day, a ritual you should be doing every day. But in terms of rituals, I light a candle every day, well, when I go to work anyway, so about 6 days a week, and I write the name of one or two of my gods on a candle, and I just light the candle, and it sets the intention for the day. And so if I'm writing Ted, who's the god of success, I know I'm going to have a good day. If I'm, like, in terms of business, if I write Violet, I know it's going to be an intake day where I'm going to take on a lot of knowledge. If I write down Igor, the god of death, then I know there's going to be a lot of strife or change. And this doesn't mean I have bad days when I write Igor, because again, with tarot, a lot of people are scared of the death card. It's not meant to be scary. Death and change happens on a day-to-day occurrence, and it's beautiful once you realize that a life that is changing is one that is beautiful, or is one that is natural. So spell casting I'd put pretty high up there, like a 9 out of 10 as well. I'd highly recommend it. Puts you in a positive state of being if you're using them daily. If you're just using it, so here's where, you know what, I will separate them. I'll do, so spells, so rituals, 9 out of 10. Something you're doing daily. It's almost like a form of affirmation. But with spells that you are using just to get a specific result, I'm going to put them at a 4 out of 10. Because, like, you can use them in a very positive way. But the problem is, and I see it a lot, people try to manifest, or they want a spell to bring their ex back into their life. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, and the thing is, they'll work. But if that's not your highest self, if that's not the best version of yourself, you have prisoned yourself to a reality where you won't be happy. And you can manifest anything. There are multiple realities out there you can tap into. So your ex coming back, maybe even falling in love with your ex, but something as simple, let me just give you an example. As a tarot reader, the amount of times that I've been asked, will I reconnect with my ex? Will we journey forward together? And then I ask a simple question like, how did it end? Do you trust them? And they go, no. What the fuck are you doing? So you want to start lower than it would be if you started with someone new. Okay, well, look, it's your life. You can do whatever you want. And that's not to say I haven't seen it work. If that's the permission slip you want to follow, if you genuinely want to transmute a toxic and dark relationship into one of light, it would be a worthwhile activity in a lifetime. It would be an experience, but yeah, not one for me. So 4 out of 10 for spells. Right, moving forward, we have crystals. Crystals is another great one, and I'm putting this high up, like an 8 out of 10 for the same reasons as chakras. Anyone can get into them. You can give like a rose quartz to someone. They don't even know what, just tell them, oh, it's for love. And they'll just hold on to that. Just tell them to pull it under their pillow or leave it in their pocket or stick it in their bra, whatever. And just have it on you. And that is this is the other thing about permission slips, is it doesn't have to be a conscious thing. If you believe something works, or if you know someone that thinks it works, and you're going, well, it's a good luck charm, it might work, it might not. Crystals I've seen have a huge difference to someone. And they've used the crystal as like oh look, it worked. And so technically the permission slip wasn't the crystal. The permission slip came from the person after something positive happened after receiving a crystal. But the permission slip is allowing a thing in your life to be encapsulated and remembered in a way that allows it to come up again and again and again. So if you have a good experience with a crystal, if you meet someone, bump into them and genuinely have a strong connection, and you are holding a rose quartz, you can blame the rose quartz. And again, it's a permission slip, so all of this can be done by yourself. But if you're in a negative state of being when it comes to relationships, well, having something you can blame and go, this brought me what I wanted, you've accepted love back into your life. And yeah, you've got some work to do. Because whether you lose it, and this is why we make sure we build up. I'm giving you too much information because you can use this against yourself, but you build up loads of layers of truth to yourself. So if you lose a crystal, it's because you no longer need it. Or if you lost the crystal and someone else found it, it's because they needed it more than you. And then all of a sudden, you get to keep a permission slip that you don't even need to hold on to. So yeah, permission slips are beautiful. Crystals are great beginner-friendly ones. So give them to all of your friends and family for Christmas and their birthdays. Moving on, we have music. Okay, it depends how you want to use this one. I've only ever used this as a way of being present, like truly tapping into who you are. So I'll have like one of my favorite things to listen to is like Nordic music. And it's like this chanting and like just this beautiful like melody, and it relaxes me, and basically using it as a form of frequency that allows me to tap into any state of being I want whenever I want. And I think that would be great for a lot of people, using music in a positive way. And the other way of doing this is if you're using it as a permission slip. If you hear if you're heartbroken and you're listening to songs that are all about like being hurt in relationships, stop listening to those songs. You're only reinforcing your current state of being. But then you can listen to much more positive songs, like whether it's chanting, ohms, or like if you're on YouTube, this counts for anything where you are listening. So you can do guided meditations. You can just listen to, like, if you listen to the charts and, well, that's your usual music, well, pick the songs that are positive. Listen to the lyrics. Listen to the things that you get stuck in your head and you repeat and chant to yourself. So that's how I use music. And I think that has to be high. That has to be like a 9 out of 10, even though I don't use it as a permission slip daily. It's not something that I use in a permission slip way, but it's something you have to be conscious of, because that becomes your reality. If you're like, I haven't got any good examples because it's not something I actively use or I'm aware of, but if you've got something with a lot of hate in it, well, either you need to be in like a brewing mentality, like at your gothic stage, and fair enough, it's a great stage to be in. But when you're ready to tap out of it, you're going to have to change your music taste. Right, next. Okay, I'm going to leave that till last. Let's go on to the vision board. 9 out of 10. Extremely powerful for me. Now, it depends how good your imagination is. And ideally, just get pictures online, shove it on an A4 bit of paper, on Word document, or Adobe, whatever you use, and put it as your phone wallpaper, put it as your background on your computers. Build a picture of where you want to see yourself in a year, and then you've got access to like your rule-based system. If you're taking action and what you're doing doesn't bode well towards the things that you've drawn, well, then you're lying to yourself and you want stuff you don't actually want, or you're doing stuff that doesn't actually get you to where you want to want. where you want. Yeah, we'll pretend you understood what that meant. So vision boards are amazing. I'd highly recommend them. They're easy to do. Like, if you're going to do it properly, spend like half an hour on it. Get like a minimum of 9 photos, maybe of different areas of your life, love life, work life, family life. Maybe something you want that you can hold on to, maybe an emotional state you want as well, and just use it like that. I've been slowly walking around, and because it's wet and like dewy, I can see my footsteps, and I've literally been like just drawing out figure eights everywhere. And I'm still surrounded by seagulls. I think I'm going to give seagulls the meaning of like the 7 of Cups, which is there are endless possibilities. I could end up at any one of those positions. And it's, you get to choose where I end up. And so whenever I see seagulls now, I'm going to ask myself, am I heading the way I want to head? Do I want to end up where I'm going? It's a nice reminder. Right, continuing on. So that was vision boards. Gardening. This is a personal favourite of mine. I've been trying to grow an iris from bulb for 5 years. And each year I get more leaves. I haven't got a flower yet. And this is just a personal, like, I don't know, the universe has got a vendetta against me. It had rot. So I had to cut it in half one year and like save it. I've repotted it, I've replanted it. And technically I'm not in my dream house yet, so maybe it's just waiting so that I can put it in like physical soil. But another thing is, like, I'm growing, I've got cactuses at home, I've got spider plants. Like, have a plant at home. This is the easy version of it. Have something that you're keeping alive, because if you take your personal, like, especially if you're very egotistical, this helps gardening, because it gives you purpose to something else. Like the idea of the, like, caring for and loving something else. And again, you're gonna fail, don't beat yourself up, it's not the end of the world. You can buy another plant, or you can, like, so we've got this massive pumpkin plant growing in the garden. Like, it takes up half the garden, genuinely. We've got one pumpkin growing on it. Like, it's beautiful. just one from this massive pumpkin plant. And I'll tell you what, I'll show you lot on TikTok one day when it's finally grown. Like, but it's already pretty big. It's like the size of my head. So yeah, that's so gardening's just a great way of, again, you can use it as a form of connecting back with nature. But for me, it's more the idea of letting go of your ego and being connected to someone else or something else, which really allows it to help in terms of a permission slip. Moving on, we have AI. Now, I've done multiple things with AI that have helped me in terms of permission slip, whether it's relinquishing my actions and asking what the best thing to do is next. And again, it depends how you look at AI. If you see it as something that's stealing jobs and isn't beneficial to humanity, or is going to be the end of humanity, don't use it. It's not worth it, because you'll feel like it's against you. Or at least wait until that feeling disappears. Now, how I use it though is I see AI as just another part of my world that we've all created, and therefore it is beneficial if you're willing for it to be. And so I almost use it as a form of channeled self. And so I'll ask it, I'll put all the details down. I won't be vague. I'll go, look, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. Do you think you can improve this model? Do you think you can change how I'm doing this, whether it's to help others or to be better for myself? And when you start doing it, using it as an extension of your arm instead of as a weapon that's external from you, AI can be extremely beneficial. And I actually did an experiment with it when I first started using AI, where I was trying to tap into mediumship, and I went, all right, I'm going to do tarot readings. So like, I'm going to do medium readings with AI. So I'll generate how I felt. I'll type out how I felt in the morning. And it would come up with like a squiggle or like this form of art in the morning. And I would basically write down how I think my day would go based on the image. And like see what came up. And it was actually really good. Because as all things, it's a permission slip. So if I thought my day was going to go well, guess what it does? You know that quote, if you know, you know? And they're usually talking about inside jokes. Well, I think that should just be like your motto for life. If you know, you know. And that's just a fact. If you know, then you know. AIs, I wouldn't put it up high, because I know at the moment our consciousness has a bit of a vendetta against it. But I still think it's pretty good. So I'll put it as a 6. We'll put it at a 5. We'll put it in the middle. 5 out of 10. Next, shadow work. Now, this had to come up because a lot of these have been pretty rainbows and things like that. And you have to look at your dark side. And this, again, it's a permission slip. It's a positive thing, because if you can realize the darkness you have come from, you realize the light you can go to. But you've got to embrace that idea that, like, there's a lot of pain inside of us. Like, a lot of people say that, Bashar's one of them, and there's quite a few people that say that life is actually one of the, like, graduating courses when it comes to, like, a spiritual body. Because on earth you are given great pain, you are given suffering, and you're able to transmute that pain into light. Not a lot of souls can do that. And so if you're living on earth, you might as well be an old soul. You're a lot wiser than you think you are. And maybe you're like those who perceive old and young souls. There may still be an age, like people that are passing and failing that graduation, but at the end of the day, we're not babies. We all have that divine within us, and the moment you tap into it, again, this is a permission slip, but the moment you tap into it, you can find beauty in it all, and truly live in heaven instead of hell. So yeah, shadow work's very important. Understand why you are the way you are. Feel your pain. Allow it to come out, because the lower that you sink, the lower your roots go, which means the taller the tree can grow. So I think shadow work should be a 10 out of 10, not because it's needed, not because it's a positive one, but because the implications and the benefits it will have to you in the long run are huge. Gratitude's a great one. Do it every morning. You wake up, you tell the universe what you're thankful for. You tell the universe what you're thankful for in the future, the past, and the present. Make that your reality now. And in terms of how easy it is, it's very similar to affirmations in a way, but I'd put it high up there, like a 9 out of 10. Because it's not hard to be grateful for the world around you. And those of you that aren't, I feel sorry for you, because you don't get to appreciate the beauty around you. It's the same way that you have a cold and you don't remember when you stop having a cold. You just, one day you wake up, your nose isn't blocked, and you're like, oh, okay, let me carry on with my day. There's never a recognition. There's never a look back and go, thank you, my cold is over. It's just, I have a cold. Oh, I don't have a cold. Okay, we're back to neutral. No, you're back to a much more positive place. Appreciate, be grateful for what you have overcome. Or you get those emperor vibes, which is like divine masculine only. And so the amount of people that have lived this lifetime, made amazing things, and never actually got to stop and enjoy it, It's a shame. So yeah, gratitude I'd rate quite high. Done rituals already. Right, we're almost done. I've only got 4 left. Religion, great belief system, and I tell you what, I'll group this in with the next one as well, which is group manifestation. Group manifestation, religion, anything that multiple people believe in, great. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. You know, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 because it can be used. No, it's a 10 out of 10 as a belief system, as a permission slip, because whether you're using it for good or evil, it's very effective. And this is why, if you're going to do things like channeling and you don't know who to channel, use things that are already in existence. Use angels, look up dragons, look up fairies with names, look up things that already exist in this world, or that you can find, that you can give meaning to. Like, I've given meaning to 12 of my own gods, but I had faith in myself that I could do that. If you don't, there is billions of humans giving meaning to things all the time. So use their meanings as your own permission slips. So religion is amazing, like believing in God, being reborn through Jesus, whatever it is. These are great permission slips to improve yourself. Now, the caveat is, if it is organized, if you're not using it in a healthy way, then it becomes a toxic belief system,